Let me talk to the men out there listening real quick. Guys, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction, fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances? Hey, low libido, ask your girlfriend or wife. She'll let you know if you're suffering from that or not. That's sex drive. If you'll text my name, Clay, in all caps to 601-327-8550, 601-327-8550, Men's Health of Mississippi and the Clay Edwards Show are going to hook you up with a free testosterone screening. They're located in Madison, Mississippi at 120 Fountains Boulevard. You can check them out online, menshealthms.com. But one more time, text my name, all caps, Clay, to 601-327-8550 and get your free testosterone screening scheduled today. Enjoy the rest of this show. Boom goes the dynamite. It's hour one of the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. Did I mention it's the free-range human show of choice? If I didn't, it is. Well, well, well. Dead man walking. Unlock cell block 601. Dead man walking. Lumumba. Dead man walking. Politically, that is. Politically. Shouldn't even be in the runoff. But thanks to a bunch of jackasses that refused to step aside and a bunch of people that didn't get out and vote like we told y'all to, now we got to deal with them for 3 more weeks. We got a lot to talk about this morning, but either way, we're that much closer to the Lumumba reign of terror coming to an end. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do once it does. We got Donald J. Trump back in office to make America great again. But that wasn't even my number one goal. My number one goal when I started this whole ride, when I started Save Jackson, taking pictures, the Save Jackson podcast, the Clay Edwards Show. Today's our 952nd or 53rd episode. I said it's probably going to take about 1,000 episodes to get rid of him. And I think that's going to pan out to be just about right. And there's a guy that's been fighting this fight way longer than I have, that I want to share this moment with, that I want to discuss everything that went on last night with. Let's go straight to the Mazda of Jackson phone line, where I got the one, the only, Jackson Jambalaya's very own, Mr. Kingfish. Kingfish, you there?
Morning.
Good morning, and the static is gone. Works out great. How are you doing this morning?
Feeling good. Feeling real good.
Same. Everything was just the grass is a little greener, the sky's a little bluer.
That'll be in 3 weeks. I mean, we're still in the middle of a war.
Do you think he's going to be able to raise any money between now and then, or is he just broke?
Yeah, I think he'll raise some money. I mean, I do.
Or he'll find some money.
Like I told you yesterday, there's a debate going on whether his little, legal defense fund tour is it being used to fund the campaign, or is the campaign being used to fund his legal defense? I don't know. I mean, but it didn't seem like he spent that much money this time. And 4 years ago, he spent over $300,000. Now you can't believe anything his finance reports say because he just doesn't report anything on them. So. And by the way, thank you, legislators, for not doing anything about that. Thank you very much, Jason White and Delbert Hoseman, and the respective chairman. But anyway, we don't, it just didn't seem like he spent that much money out there.
Agreed.
You didn't see that many signs. You didn't see that many commercials. I mean, you just did.
The signs look like retreads from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, a lot of candidates do that. I mean, you use your signs out. I mean, you put them away, you pull them back out 4 years later. I mean, even your guys do that. I mean, so that's not big. I mean, hey, why waste the money?
Yep. Well, when your beard is twice as gray as it was 4 years ago, it's a bad look. And you've got the word integrity on the sign. All things considered, probably would have avoided that, but that's just me.
Yeah. What was funny though was. He did they his little press conference. First thing that was funny about it was they lied to WLBT. They told C.J. LeMaster, he was just going to watch the results from home. So they lied to him and didn't tell him there was actually a watch party. But they told the rest of the media that, though. So when he addresses the media last night, and so everybody is there except LBT because they were told something else. Seriously.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bitch move by him. But then to make it even better is, guess what they did? They streamed it live on Facebook, on the city's Facebook page, which you're not supposed to. I mean, you can't use government assets for campaigning.
Well, he did the same thing concerning his when he did the video about his indictments.
I could kind of see that one because he's speaking kind of as the mayor in his official capacity. Hey, just let me know I'm getting indicted for my, blah, blah, blah. But that is a definite no-no, is using city assets for campaign stuff. I mean, you can't do it. And the laws are pretty strict on it. I mean, you can't even, you're not even supposed to discuss it during business hours, 8 to 5 or whatever, while you're at City Hall.
Well, nobody's going to enforce it.
The laws have never applied to him, so why should they apply now?
Yeah, I mean, we're two old guys screaming at the clouds right now talking about this. So let's move on to something that matters. So, I haven't even had a chance to look at the results. Bring us up to speed on the numbers. Last night was like a tornado through a trailer park for me between the Shank stuff and Brandon, and then sitting down at the house long enough to shove some food in my mouth, put a little bit of show prep together. What were the final results? I'm trying to get it all pulled up now. I just saw the Flowwood results, but let's focus on Jackson real quick. How did the numbers shake out? How did our guy do? Not our guy, but how did Horne do?
John got 48.5%. I mean, Dan, he only needed like 500 votes to avoid the runoff. And you Republicans that voted for Henderson, hope you feel good about it, because John got 11,909 votes last night. Chokwe, pardon me, he got 4,124. And Tim Henderson got 3,371. So he beat Tim Henderson. I mean, he came close. I mean, he got about in within 800 votes of kicking the mayor out of a runoff. I mean, just think about that. This guy's a nobody. He's a no-name. I mean, and he worked his ass off, but he only raised $50,000. But he worked his butt off, though. And I mean, but I'm pretty sure when we get the precincts, it's going to be most of his stuff is going to come from the Republican areas. I mean, so you guys that did that, okay, just remember you enabled the runoff is what you did. And I don't want to hear it from you, Pete. Martin, let me see here. Marcus Wallace got all of 1,000 votes, and Funchess got 2,034 votes. Socrates only got 648. So, and your friend, your bosom buddy, David L. Archie, got 533 votes. But the total votes were 24,802, which is 4 years ago, it was only 17,000. So it was about 7,000 more people voted in the election this time. But 10 years ago, when it was Yarber and Chokwe, his father, and all them in that election, I mean, the primaries and the runoffs were in the 30s. So we're still way down from 10 years ago. Way down.
So what was the total amount of votes last night? I'm sorry.
24,000. Let's just call it 25,000.
Up from how many from the previous time?
4 years ago, 17,000.
Well, that's an improvement. I mean,
it's an improvement.
It's an improvement. Brandon had record numbers show up last night, over 5,000. Well over 5,000.
Yeah.
So I think the record was 3,500, and around 3:30 they were sitting around 4,400 votes.
Wow.
So people were motivated to get out, and I said unfortunately that's going to work one or two ways. Either Fred's going to win a close one or he's going to lose a big one, and unfortunately it was the other way around. So
well, I thought his campaigning could have been more aggressive. And Butch, I mean, his people, who I know very well, told me early on, hey, look, they wanted to crush Fred. They knew they were going to work it. They knew where their votes were. They were going to go after him. I mean, they didn't even really they didn't really go negative, actually, when you look at it. I mean, but Butch was out there door knocking. I mean, they were out there doing their thing, and they wanted, it was like when Mayor Mary ran against John Bell Crosby. They wanted to crush him to prove a point. And when you beat your opponent 2-1, you've done a pretty damn good job, and that's what they did last night.
This is irrelevant of either opponent. What I'm disappointed in is just my generation in general, Gen X. When are we going to get off our asses and get politically involved, and please begin to show the boomers to the door? And this ain't just Butch, and this is just across the board. We have let the boomers stay on the stage for a mighty, mighty long time. And I feel like Gen X is just going to completely be skipped here in the political spectrum, at least in Mississippi. And we're just going to go straight from boomers to Gen Z, and maybe even millennials. Like we seem to have no interest.
We were kind of the in-between generation,
We seem to have no interest in getting politically involved on a large scale. Well, as I say that, I know Tate is a Gen Xer, but it's hard to call Tate a Gen Xer. He's got boomer tendencies.
Why do you say that?
I'm
just conservative?
No, I don't know. He just boomer tendencies.
Because he doesn't have a wild streak like you do?
Because what?
Because he doesn't have a wild streak like you do, or used to have.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe he's a bit of a nerd. I don't know. Just where Gen X and Tate don't really flow together well.
Tate is a bit of a nerd. I mean, and you know who else was a bit of a nerd? Haley Barbour. You know what Haley Barbour loved to do? He loved to read policy papers for fun.
Yeah, well, he was definitely a boomer.
But he was a genius boomer. Okay, and he's still a genius boomer. And some of those genius boomers, like Mary, know what the hell they're doing. So. I mean, I knew Leland Speed very well all the way till he died at age 87. Let me tell you, that guy, he made a point not to have his brain fossilized. He was always hanging around younger people and involving younger people in his life just for that very reason, and it showed,
Yep, well, I'll stand by my statement. It's time for our generation. I'm not blaming this on the boomers, by the way. I mean, they're still fighting and winning. It's time for our generation to get up and start fighting, or we're going to be completely left out of the political.
Well, I mean,
being able to leave our stamp on the thing.
Because I think it'd be a little bit harsher because over in Clinton, you got a new mayor, William Purdy. I mean, he was in his 40s or 50s. I mean, he didn't get an opponent. He's the city attorney. Then you got your friend Jake over in Pearl. I mean, he's fairly young. He's in his 40s. I mean, you're seeing the Xers. They're rising up. Look at Josh Harkins. I mean, they're out there. I mean, you look at your statewide. I mean, you got Shad. I mean, he's kind of more millennial, but you got Michael Watson. You got some of these others. I would say Andy Gibson's probably an Xer. I mean, Delbert obviously is not an Xer. I mean, but, look at most of your statewide. They're Xers.
Yeah, it's time to show the boomers stage left.
It's in Jackson that we don't really see many Xers running for anything. I mean, it's always, you go back the last 2 or 3 elections, it's always the retreads. I mean, the old guys who've been around forever. I mean, John Horne, but Robert Graham, those types. I mean, Credo Calhoun, that's what you see running for the most part. I mean, but you look at most of the black political class in Jackson and look at its age. You don't see many young people outside the Chokwe crew in that group.
Yeah,
that's one reason why I think the Chokwe people do succeed is because they don't have any real competition in their age group.
No, what is he? He's not a Gen Xer. He's a millennial.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just talking about Gen X in general. We seem to be very – I know we're a small generation, but man.
But how much of that is a reaction to – every generation is different from one before that, and the one that came before it was the boomers. And I mean, just look at what the hell they were doing in the '60s and some of the '70s. I mean, all the protests, all the stuff, everything. How much was okay? Them just kind of stepping back from that, just like you're seeing kind of now with the younger generation starting to step back what the millennials and the early Zers were doing in politics. You see what I mean?
Yep. I don't know. You would have thought that Gen X, going over there fighting in those Gulf Wars. And all the stuff that we did, I mean, I didn't personally do it, but just Gen X in general, fought in those Gulf Wars. You would have thought we would come back ripping and ready to leave our mark on things, and I don't feel like we are. Not in the South anyway.
Well, if you go look at Vance, Tulsi, and a couple of the others in the Trump administration who are all veterans of those Gulf Wars, they all tend to have the same views, and they're not as war hawkish as you might think. And I got a feeling quite a few people went over there, fought, and I was in the military too. And I mean, they got tired of seeing their buddies blown up and everything else. Meanwhile, we got Rumsfeld on there saying, you know, you just got to fight with what you have, and no, there's no insurgency and all that crap. And they had their heads up there, you know what, for a couple of years before they finally got it right. And then you see them just going on and on for 20 years in Afghanistan. I mean, they come back and, you know, a lot of times they don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah. I mean,
some do, and they've been running for office, but a lot of times they don't want anything to do with it. They're just sick of it, you know?
I am.
They're like, and they have the attitude, no matter who's in charge, we're getting screwed, so to hell with it.
All right, Kingfish, hang on. We got to take a break. We got JacksonJambalaya.com's very own, the Kingfish, on the line with us this morning. Got a big show planned. Going to be a fun one. We took a couple L's yesterday, but we took a couple W's as well. So we're going to celebrate, and we're going to talk about all of it here on the Clay Edwards Show this morning. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on WYAB. We're streaming in stunning 4K video on the Save JXN, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. Congratulations to all the big winners yesterday. Now you're on the clock. We're watching you. We want to see if you do promises made, promises kept. We're going to be keeping up with you. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Guys, don't forget Stonington Farm grass-fed beef. You got till Thursday, that's tomorrow, to get your order in. They're going to be up here in central Mississippi. And, man, they're going to be delivering in central Mississippi Friday to Ridgeland, Florence, and Brandon. They meet at the Home Depot there in Brandon. And they're going to be bringing you the 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished difference, and we got a special for you this month. Oh boy, do we have a special for you directly from Miss Katie Stonington. They're going to be up here this Friday, April 4th, and the April special, and this ain't no April Fool's, is 30 pounds of ground beef. It comes in 1 pound packages plus a free pint of grass-fed beef tallow. That's right. That's only $225. That's $750 $7.50 a pound. You can't beat that, guys. 30 pounds in 1 pound packages plus a free pint of tallow for only $225. This is 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished. You say you're about that MAHA, Make America Healthy Again movement. Prove it. Prove it. Support a locally owned, Mississippi-based cattle rancher and meat provider here that's bringing you grass-fed, grass-finished, mRNA-free, herbicide-free, pesticide-free, steroid-free, antibiotic-free, locally raised beef. They got some other specials going as well. They got 10% off of a mini cow packages. They got some all kind of deals going on. I'm not going to bog you down with all of it. Check out the website, StoningtonFarm.com. That's Stonington with 2 N's, farm.com. You've gone out there to Men's Health Mississippi. You've gotten on the testosterone. You've gotten on the semaglutide. You're losing some weight. But you hadn't quite figured out the missing elixir in the kitchen yet. That's the most important part of all this. If it came in a box at your house, throw it out and get in touch with Stonington Farm and get some of that grass-fed difference. Let's go to Kingfish, back on the Mazda of Jackson phone line. Kingfish, you there?
Oh, yeah. Look, here's my problem with grass-fed was years and years and years ago in Honduras. My first taste of grass-fed beef was down there, and it just had no flavor whatsoever to it. I mean, none. And I know it's good here. It just ruined me. You know what I'm saying? It just ruined me for it.
You know, you are now like 10 for 10 on coming back and not having anything positive to say about one of my ad reads. Every time we do this, you have something negative to say.
No. I've actually patronized some of your sponsors before because of you.
Right, and thank you.
I just like to give you a hard time sometimes. That's all.
I know, but look, this grass-fed. I'll be the first to tell you. I don't care for the steak. The way the grass-fed.
It's good stuff. A lot of my friends swear by it. Okay, I mean they really do. No bull. I just, like I said, I just can't. It's just like because I had a bad experience down, like I said, out of the country.
I don't personally care for the way the fat tastes on the steak. That's just me. I'm just so used to eating the grain-fed fat that I just can't get used to the other. But the fat they put in with the hamburger meat is phenomenal, and the ground beef is worth its weight in gold.
I might go try some of this out. Just to shut you up.
I'll give you I'll give you a pound of the grass fed that I have, and if you like it, just buy more of it. If you don't,
hey, if I like it, I'll get on the air and say so. How's that?
Deal. I will give you a pound to test. All right, so I got the results. Actually, I got a little clip here pulled up that I want to play. This is just. I got to get it set up for the online audience. You'll give me less than 60 seconds.
Oh man,
here.
do I have to listen to them this early in the morning? Oh, go ahead.
Yep, I know. It's like pulling teeth, but we're so close to victory. We're gonna enjoy this. I did fast forward it to him talking, so we don't have to hear all the WLBT folks. All right, left computer. All right, here we go. This is Chokwe speaking in Chokweisms about how it's everybody else's fault that he should have won.
When there's an inability to even raise funds, I never even told you that, right? I have not directly asked anybody for a donation to my campaign. And so if this campaign looks a little different, that's the reason why, right? Because we can't do that, right? Or I can't do that because of what's going on. When they tell people, Republicans, to vote in the Democratic primary, then we shouldn't be standing here, right? We should not be standing here. They've given every reason for us not to be standing here, and yet we still stand.
Come on.
Now, again, he is carrying the majority of the vote. Now, we don't have an answer for who will be in either political party representing those parties in the general election coming up in June. Now, looking at the Republican primary for the top seat here in the capital city, that race is also likely headed to a runoff. 3 candidates were hoping to advance to the general, but it seems like now you'll have to vote for either Kenny G or Wilfred Bill in the runoff that's set for April 22nd. So that's just 3 weeks away, and the winners from those runoffs.
All right, I just wanted to show that part too.
I mean, that's the funny part. We're going to actually have a Republican runoff.
I know. I didn't realize that. That part was unplanned.
At least your friend Ponto didn't make it, okay?
Yeah, man, old Ponto. He is nuttier than squirrel poo.
I know. I hosted for Kim Wade one day a couple of years ago, and he called in, and I mean, I let him just go on and on because sometimes if they're really making a fool out of themselves, I'll do it. And I did that with him, and finally, I mean, I just had enough. I said, all right. And I finally just started letting him have it. I just couldn't. And then, of course, it kicked off another caller who said, I can't believe you treat him like that. I said, well, I can't believe I was hearing such stupidity, okay? I mean, so.
Well, look, I get accused of being a racist because I have the audacity to speak up for what's going on around here. When I hear him call with his plan for Jackson, like, bro, eject button. When I'm telling you it's racist, it's racist.
Forget 1960s. We're talking 1930s stuff, okay?
Yeah, I'm like, how does this guy still live in Jackson? He just ain't saying what he's saying on a big enough platform, and it ain't going to be this one.
No.
Guilt by association.
He's old to figure out how to use platforms. I mean, so. But anyway, And by the way, give you some more numbers. 10 years ago, when you had John. Last time we had Tony Yarborough, but. And you had Jonathan Lee and Chokwe's father. I mean, Jonathan Lee won the primary, but he was at 35, and Chokwe's father was at 25. I mean, 10 points is definitely doable. You had Harvey Johnson in third place, like 17, 18%. And you couldn't just look at Harvey Johnson voters and just say, oh, yeah, they're going to vote against Chokwe Lumumba, the elder. I mean, so that's – and Johnson, I mean, in the debate, basically blew it. I mean, he came off not being prepared, not being ready for prime time. The thing about this race is, now that we're in the runoff, we're probably going to have one debate where they go mano a mano. And, that's where Chokwe's pretty damn good. And John's going to need to study policy, do his homework, read the budgets or audits and stuff, and be ready to go. And he's going to have to go. It's going to be one-on-one.
No, I'm looking forward to it. We got Anthony Fox watching on Facebook. Says, great morning, my brother. What a great day to be a Hinds County voter. I agree. Well, we got one more.
We've had a good start. We darn near pulled it off last night. And what's funny is you listen to the mayor. I mean, he's sitting there rambling on. The Republicans came and voted. Go look at those votes. I mean, the Republicans are only about 15%. Okay, guys? I mean, 15%. And I got a feeling when we get the precinct numbers in, a good chunk of them will have voted for Tim Henderson. So, yeah, they may have held his vote down, but that 40 let's just say 49% that John Horne got, that was not white. I mean, that wasn't the white folks getting out and voted. There was a lot of black votes. I mean, he won Tougaloo. He won a lot of other black precincts too. Okay,
Sean Yerkeron, our new host here from 12 to 1 every day, text in on the Guns in Your text line and says this. Says Horne doesn't need to debate. He has a mandate winning the primary more than 2 to 1. What do you think? But let me ask this.
Prefer debate. Okay, I'm going to have to be consistent because I didn't like it when Cindy Hyde Smith would duck out of debates. I don't like the way when she did that one debate how she had the rules rigged so she didn't really have to do much. I didn't like that at all. I mean, let
me ask you this.
I always believe in a debate.
I won't argue that, but let me ask you this. Do you think if Horne chooses not to debate, does that hurt him in the eyes of the black crowd like he got punked? Like he's scared? I think it does.
A little bit, yeah.
Just knowing that crowd, how they love their online beef and they love their back and forth drama and stuff, I think it will hurt that. It'll look like he's scared.
I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people who think they ought to have to debate. I mean, and you look like, you're kind of scared when you don't. Now, that doesn't mean if you're like a 70-80% guy running against a 10% guy, you give them a platform with a debate. Most of the time you don't. I mean, but it's a little bit different. You're going to see a debate. I mean, it'll be just one debate. I mean, Chokwe would probably love a series of debates. Not going to happen. I would suspect one. I mean, so it'll be interesting. Him saying also about how he didn't try to raise any money. Does anybody actually believe that? No. I mean, he was trying. Hell, he had a fundraiser at Johnny T's Saturday night. What was that about? Okay. I mean, of course, nobody went. But I mean. And I've had people telling me they weren't giving this year to him who'd given in the past because they didn't want to worry about the FBI looking at what they gave. They just didn't want to be dragged into it. Period.
Hey, quick question everybody online. Can y'all hear? Anthony Fox said he couldn't hear. Everybody else says they can hear. Anthony, must be something on your end, brother. Thanks for letting me know, though.
Who, me?
No, Anthony Fox said he didn't have sound on his end, but everybody else seems to.
Well, he never listens anyway.
Well, he's earned the right to be a little hard-headed. So,
I have to use sign language with him sometimes.
Well, people need to use it with me as well. The only reason I can hear now is because I got headphones on.
You're just deaf and dumb. That's all.
If you're around, I don't know about the dumb part. If you're around me a lot, my favorite word is "huh." Say it again. Say it one more time.
No, I've learned to speak to one side of your head. I mean, I've learned to do that.
Yeah, the left side is the good side. If you're on the right side, it's going to be a long day. All right, we got to take it.
I've learned to recognize your face when. I can tell when you don't hear what I'm saying now, so I've learned to recognize it, so I just start speaking louder.
All right, let's take another break real quick. We got Jackson Jambalaya's very own Kingfish on the phone. We're having a good time this morning. He says we're about to have some fun, so I'm interested where that's going to go. Hey, guys, don't forget, you're looking for something to do this weekend. Martin's downtown. Kill Devil Hill. That's right. The super rock band, heavy metal band, with roots right here in Jackson, Mississippi, all the way out to Hollywood, California. Former members of Five Finger Death Punch are in this band. It's awesome. Dewey Bragg, the lead singer, from right out there in Clinton, Mississippi. Ties to Pantera. This band is awesome. They rock. They're going to melt your face. If you love hard rock, heavy metal, you love that Pantera sound, you need to get out to Martin's this weekend. I think it's Friday night. I'm pulling the flyer up now just to confirm. Here it is. It's Saturday night, April 5th. Apparently there's a crawfish boil going on over there as well. It's going to be the crawfish boil after party. Members of this band include former members of Five Finger Death Punch, Typo Negative, Danzig, and more. Get out, check them out. It is going to be awesome. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, here live on 103.9 FM. Guys, I was telling you about the Martin's concert Saturday night, and I feel like I need to tell you about the Crawfish Bowl as well. Really big. This is at the downtown location, as Chip Matthews would say, downtown. Martin's Crawfish Bowl is this Saturday, April 5th, outdoors in the big parking lot. You've got the Heavy Drunk and Watermelon Slim. You got the Southern Comfort Brass Band, and you got the Jesse Cotton Stone Band. And that's all outside in the parking lot. Then stick around for the big Kill Devil Hill show inside. So if you're looking for something to do, this Saturday, downtown Jackson, go by Martin's. It's in the safe zone there. It's in the CCID. Capitol Police are in control at the Martin's area there, Martin's and Howland Miles area. So get by, check it out. You're going to be safe. You're going to be secure. Your vehicle's going to be safe, and you're going to have a good time. I co-sign on that. Let me just double check here for the Livingston location. They got a crawfish boil coming up there too. Mark your calendars. Livingston, Saturday, April 12th. That's next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. They're doing it out there starting at 3 p.m. as well. Crawfish, live music, beer and cocktails, music by Humid Subtropic, the Bailey Brothers, who I know personally, and Robbie Peoples, who I know personally. I can't speak on Humid Subtronic, but I'm sure they're great if they're playing Martin's. So the next 2 weekends, Martin's downtown this weekend, Martin's Livingston the next weekend. Great live music, outdoor crawfish boils, Mississippi weather. It could be a tornado. It could be perfect. You never know. That's part of the fun. And don't forget to swing by both the locations today and enjoy the meatloaf on the blue plate. Let's go back to the Mazda of Jackson phone line to speak with Jackson Jambalaya's very own, the Kingfish. Hey, the Kingfish, speaking of the Kingfish.
Sounds like a good concert, by the way.
It does. Kill Devil Hill, they're great. They're great. Have you ever met Dewey?
Yeah.
He's from here.
No, I haven't. If you get Poppy to show up, I'm there.
All right. Well, look, let me ask you this. Speaking of the Kingfish, when does the Jambalaya podcast start back?
When I get off my lazy butt and do it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like those long-form evergreen conversations.
I need to get motivated.
Those long-form evergreen conversations are good. You got a wealth of knowledge up there in that noggin of yours.
I just need to get a little bit more disciplined to do them. That's all there is to it.
Yep. That's why I do radio and not a podcast all the time, because I'm committed to somebody else's business, and it makes me way more dependable. Let me ask you this. Sean made a good point during the break on the Guns and Gear text line about the debate. Let me read this, then I want your rebuttal.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Chokwe Sr. and Jonathan Lee had a close primary, hence the debate. Both were not incumbents. Horne got 48% of the vote. Chokwe got 16%. The public spoke already, but I do agree with your statement about them liking the flash. So my point in the debate is this. While I would like to see one, I think Horne stands more to lose than he does to gain by doing one.
Of course he does. He's in the lead.
Yeah.
That's every leader.
Yeah, but he's got a big lead, and I think this is just stepping into Chokwe's arena.
Yeah.
So and I don't know enough about Horne.
Debates are probably where Chokwe is going to be strong, but I would think that John Horne's going to be a little bit better versed than Jonathan Lee was. Although Jonathan Lee, I tell you what though, he did warn him about that Siemens deal in that debate, and he wound up being right, and they didn't want to hear it.
Well, with Chokwe, I think you just go straight to the boat ride. Just don't let him answer anything without boat ride.
Too. Well, if you watched Chokwe last night, it was funny because this whole thing last night was about him. They're coming after me. They're lying about me, and
it's always about him. That's the problem with him.
Well, it's always they're picking on me. Well, I got a great post. I think it's a great post that I put up yesterday. It's called The Halloween of Jackson.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
LBT had a story a year ago, and someone was complaining to LBT about how it seemed like the state was hollowing out Jackson. I said, no, and I've done this a couple times on the radio in the last year. But I just went through it. I said, let's go through the city services and see how they fell apart. And pretty much every city service that fell apart was not the state's fault. It was the city's fault. It's not the state's fault that the firemen are living in those squalid conditions they're living in, okay? It wasn't the state who ran off Lee Vance and got a boob of a police chief and the homicides went sky high because they ran off all the police officers. It wasn't the state that caused the libraries to fall apart, okay? The state gave them money for Thalia Mara Hall and just sat in the bank and they didn't go bother to fix the HVAC system. You just go through it and you start seeing the pattern, which is over the last 8 to 10 years, everything has literally been neglected, deteriorated, fallen apart, and their accomplishments, when they start bragging about their accomplishments, it's always involved things like equity, dignity, vague little vague buzzwords that don't really have a standard, whereas your basic services, everybody agrees your basic services have had major problems over the last decade.
Chokwe, here's a number for you, and it's ironic. 911. What do you think that number is? 911.
I don't know.
That is how many murders have happened in Jackson since 2017.
Yeah.
Now I actually broke this down by date. If you got to split 2017 in half, because literally when he got inaugurated in July of 2017, with July 4th weekend there, it was at 34. So if you subtract 34, these are actually ones that happened on his watch. So let's say minus 34.
Well, but leave
877
January of the next year, so you kind of really can't really include 17 at all.
Well, he was mayor, so 877 homicides on his watch since he was sworn in as mayor of Jackson, with 20 so far this year. So that is a lot, and to me that's the number. That's the number that people need to be beating into people's heads. I mean, and overwhelmingly, if of 911, I would say 900 of those are black folks. And
easy.
And listen, 900 of them are black folks. It is genocide what is going on in the black community in Jackson under his watch.
Yeah, because you look at all the homicides for the Tri-County area each year, and I mean, you have about white victims, you have about 10 to 15 white victims of homicide, and that's it.
Yeah. Kingfish, we're going to do something crazy here. We're going to take a call. I have no idea who it is. I can't see. We'll hang up if it's bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, you're on the phone with Clay and Kingfish. Who's this?
This is Jason. I didn't know I was going to get in that quick. I'm just kind of calling into Kim. I just wanted to throw one shout-out to your sponsors, sure. Watkins Construction. They came to my house and roofed my house, and they did a absolutely fantastic job. And the reason I took that is because I've been listening to you ever since you came on.
My brother, I appreciate it.
Letting you know that yes, they do fantastic work, and I could not be happier job that I had.
Well, man, that means the world. I was actually going to talk about them this morning, and you just saved me the trouble having to do it. Not the trouble, but the energy having to do it. I'm just going to send that over to the boss man over there and let him make sure he heard it. And we appreciate you supporting these great sponsors here, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Jason.
Everybody needs to support your sponsors.
Amen, brother.
Fantastic work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be good.
Bye.
Bless. Kingfish, you want to do hour 2 with me?
Do what?
You want to do some hour 2 with me?
Sure.
Let's do this. I don't want to leave you on hold for too long. Let's just call me back at 8:05.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that.
All right, talk to you then. All right, bye. All right, let's take a break real quick. And online audience, I'm going to stay with y'all. I want to run my mouth a little bit by myself. So online, stay there. Radio, rip the knob off. Don't go anywhere. We got a whole another hour to go. Phone lines will be open if you want to call in and talk to the Clay and the Kingfish. Wait to 8:05. 601-879-0002 is the Mazda of Jackson phone line. If you got any comments you want to drop, leave them. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. Guns and Gear text line. We'll be right back. All right, guys, let's hang out with you guys for a second here. Let me take the screen off there. I know Kara keeps telling me she'll fix these these overlays for me where I don't have to do that, and I keep forgetting to send them to her. Let's start at the bottom down here. I'd like to start at the most recent. Adam, the land is free. Almost. We're getting there. The land is almost free. I'm gonna do a shirt sale today. Here in just a minute, I'm gonna go set it up. We're gonna run a special on shirts today on the website. The promo code is gonna be free the land. The promo code is gonna be free the land, and it's gonna be a really good special. I'm trying to decide how I want to do it. So y'all stay tuned. I'll announce that here shortly. But get ready for go to buyfafo.com this morning. Let's read some of your comments here. Greg says, LaQuintus Perry says they have failed. They did fail. Poorly. Greg says, Democrats voted in the Republican runoff to make sure McDaniel didn't win. You can't complain now when it goes against you. You cannot have it both ways. That may be the comment of the day. Greg, I got you a free chicken strip meal from Huey Magoo's. A 3-piece meal with fries and a drink from Huey Magoo's. I will reach out to you and tell you how you can redeem that prize for your comment of the day. And then we may have more comments of the day. But that one right there is a home run. Greg, you win the Huey Magoo's comment of the day. I just made that award up, but I have some of those, so I'm going to give them away. Bobster, watching over on YouTube, says, morning, Clay. Morning to you, my brother. Baby Doll, over on YouTube, says, I cannot believe he got one vote. Jackson is as stupid as we thought. No more sympathy for y'all. Amen. Amen, Baby Doll. I'm trying to make sure I'm not going to run over. All right, we're good. Let's see here. Adam says, Chokwe's sister for mayor. I believe that her time is done. Like John Cena says, my time is up. Your time is up. My time is now. I believe the Lumumba's time is up. I think that they go away. I truly do. We got a big old audience watching this thing live this morning. That's why I didn't want to abandon y'all for the commercial break. Dwayne, my boy, the leader of the Anthony Fox fan club, says Chocolate Lumumba has got to go. This man has lied to the citizens of Jackson, and Jackson needs a change. I believe he's going to get it. The one and only, my boy, Mr. Malcolm Johnson, says vote John Horne. Malcolm, has anybody checked on Arthur Kane this morning? Has anybody checked on Brad Franklin this morning? They going to be all right? They going to be okay this morning? Boy, I don't know. Allegedly, of course. Allegedly one of them got paid to become a big Chokwe supporter late. Don't look like it worked out. I got to be quiet for a minute. We're coming back from the break. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. I just got this text in on the Guns and Gear text line. It says, meanwhile, Melissa Faith Payne lied to WLBT about where Lumumba was last night. Apparently, she told them he was at home with his family. Meanwhile, he was, in fact, having a watch party the entire night with another news organization. Shady McShadetree. We're almost done with the lies. But, all the media here, all the mainstream media just gets what they deserve with the Lumumba. They've been running cover for this guy for so long, pitching his softballs, little underhanded softballs for so long that why should he respect y'all now? He doesn't think he has to. Melissa Faith Payne, she got no respect for y'all. I hope nobody hires her back in media after the way she's treated y'all. We'll be right back online. I'm staying with you. All right, guys, I'm sticking with y'all for the next 7 minutes. Appreciate y'all getting up this morning, riding with your boy. Look, I do want to address one thing. I was a big supporter of my boy Fred Shanks out there in Brandon. Didn't go the way we wanted it to, but it was fun to get involved. I'd never been involved in a campaign before. Actually getting out, waving at folks, holding signs, all that. I didn't get too involved on the radio because, I try to separate my personal life from my professional life. But I also like to be transparent and honest. I was supporting Fred Shanks. Y'all know that. Now we'll work with the mayor to try to make Brandon great. It is what it is. It's politics. You take your L's and you move on. So it is what it is. Hate to lose, but we're still here to fight another day. This show's not about Brandon. This show's about Jackson and the shenanigans in Jackson. But we will talk about other stuff every now and then. So the Rankin County has been giving us a lot with what's going on at the Sheriff's Department, And for all of y'all that say that, oh, Clay, you don't talk about Rankin County, you don't talk about stuff white folks do, brother, there ain't no way you can listen to this radio show and say that with a straight face. It just ain't no way you can do that. We talk about Rankin County and the sheriff and what's going on at the sheriff's department ad nauseum on this show, unlike any other show, in my opinion, period. Unlike any other platform, in my opinion, period. So you just got to listen. It might not make its way into the short form content on social media, but it gets talked about on this long form show all the time. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Back to the program. Larry Joe says, good morning. Dwayne saying here clear. All right, who's this? Tom on YouTube says, Lumumba is more than likely on his way out as mayor of Jackson, and that's a good thing. Plus, in just a little over a year, Lumumba will be on his way to federal prison for a few years, a few good years. Yeah, you look, we're going to talk to Kingfish about that when we come back. I want to bring that up. If Chokwe is not mayor going into that trial in July 26, do we even make it to July 26? Because he loses a huge bargaining tool. He loses a huge part of his defense where he says this was a political witch hunt. You ain't the mayor no more, bro. This ain't a political witch hunt. You're just a citizen now. You ain't a mayor anymore. It can't be a witch hunt. It can't be a political witch hunt of a citizen. So, Stephen says, I bet Antar don't get much sleep between now and the election. But you know how Obama aged so much in office? Antar's aged like that the last couple of years, to be honest. He has aged a lot the last few years. Well, one of the last remaining outdoor venues where you check your race color at the gate. Everyone is there to drag race or watch drag racing. There needs to be more places like that. Yeah, I agree. I disagree with Chip wanting to shut down the dragway, but the dragway's not even in Canton, so he ain't got no say-so on shutting down the dragway. The drag strip is outside the city limits of Canton, so he won't have no say-so in that, no way. Sometimes Chip just be chipping, as we call it. All right, getting ready to come back from commercial. The intro's about to play. Y'all don't go nowhere. Boom goes the dynamite. You're tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards, host of the most incendiary show on the radio in all of America, and most likely all of the world, and on the internet. Nah, I tell you, there's some very incendiary shows on the internet. I don't think we can top those, not without some of that language. You know, I want to say something, too, about bad language. And I've been guilty of using language on this show that I shouldn't. Now, we will continue to say, like, ass, damn, hell, piss, every now and then. Usually not back to back to back like that. I've been spending a lot of time lately with my girlfriend's 11-year-old son. You know, picking him up from school, some running around, running errands with me and stuff. And I listen to podcasts all the time. And I did not realize how much cussing is in those podcasts. I mean, the F word gets dropped constantly in these podcasts, just for no reason in the middle of conversation. Now, I'm 47 years old. I lived quite the life. It doesn't bother me. But when I cringe because I got an 11-year-old beside me that's not my son, and I feel like I got to change the channel out of respect, it's too much. And it got me to thinking, you guys have my word, because I know we have a lot of young kids in the car, especially in that 7 a.m. hour. You guys have my word that I'm going to really, really work on the language on this show and online. Even the F'd around and found out championship, we're going to quit saying the F word moving forward, because I understand that y'all watch my videos with kids around and stuff. So moving forward, from April 2nd forward, Clay Edwards is not going to be cussing online or on the radio outside of those few words that I said there. LakelandGlassandTint.com. Check them out today for a free quote. It's going to be getting warm outside. Get your home or business windows tinted, help keep those utility bills down. I got a $300 electric bill the other day. I'm like, gosh dang, I'm going to have to figure out some alternative plans to keep my house cooler. $300 is a heck of a jump. But we're using the washer and dryer more. I guess that's got something to do with it. But anyway, home, car, business, they got you covered on the window tint. Automotive, windshield, and glass repair and replacement, they got you covered. Every new windshield comes with a free glass peck repair card. I got to go get one done today, and I didn't get my windshield from them. It came with the vehicle, but it's $50. Walk-ins welcome for rot peck repair, but you get one that's good for the free for the lifetime of the vehicle if you buy a windshield from them. Saving $50. Real money your boy's about to go spend today. Check them out, LakelandGlassandTint.com. They got a brand new location to serve you right in downtown Brandon on the corner of 471 and Highway 80. They're doing windshields and window tint at that location. Let's go back to the Mazda Jackson phone line here. We got JacksonJambalaya.com's very own The Kingfish. Kingfish, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. By the way, I've actually used the Lakeland Drive location for chip repair. They do very good work.
Good folks, man. Locally owned. Jason Anderson and his crew are phenomenal. And they just won the Expel. That's the product they use. A global company. They just won the Expel Installer Dealer of the Year for the third year in a row, right here in Flowood, Mississippi. So that's big time, big time. So, Kingfish, the article. I want to circle back to the article you put on the site yesterday. I got it pulled up here called Jackson hollowed out Jackson. And I've been saying for the longest time that JSU's biggest rival is not Alcorn, it's not Southern. It's not JSU's biggest rival is JXN. It is its biggest rival, and people get so mad at me because they feel like you can't compartmentalize and separate the two. I love JSU. I don't love JXN and the way it treats JSU, but some of the things you pointed out that have just gone downhill over the last few years are crime and police, the fire department, libraries, animal control and the animal shelter. Thalliamar Hall, which will never reopen, the Jackson Zoo, which should never reopen, roads, Smithville Stadium, the water system, garbage, and traffic lights. And I want to circle back up before you jump in. I want to circle back up to Smithville's because we have not heard anything else about this parking contract debacle over there. Is he still able to have that parking contract with the state hospital or whoever, that federal deal with the VA?
Yeah, with VA.
And still not paying any rent? I mean, have you followed up on this thing?
He only has to make like 1 or 2 rent payments a year, and last year he didn't make one at all until when I started breaking all these stories, and then all of a sudden he made a payment. When I reported, he hadn't made a payment all year, and this is like in the summer or so. I mean, so I'm going to wait a little while before I go check and see when his last payment was. So, but he basically tries to get away with not paying his rent unless he's held accountable for it.
Let me ask this real quick.
That's my opinion.
Let me ask this about Smithville's real quick. Is the state's takeover moving forward? Is it still tied up in court? Do you think?
Oh, no, it's tied up in court. I mean, the other side, I mean, they've answered the lawsuit. I mean, that the AG filed. I mean, it's going to take a while. I mean, that's the nature of lawsuits.
Does this go away? Does this go away with the Chokwe loss, or do you think Horne may have enough stroke down at the legislature to wrangle control back of the stadium?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he would back down from that lawsuit. I mean, because I don't think his voters, the white voters don't care, but I mean, the black voters, I mean, they don't want to see the state taking something else away from Jackson. I mean, that's just the way they see it, okay? I mean, so I don't think he would, but would it be the vitriol and personal way that Chokwe goes about it? I mean, no, I don't think so, But do I think he would withdraw or cede control? No, I don't think so either.
So,
and I understand why.
Sure. It's just, those are going to have to play itself out in court and see what happens.
I mean, what's really sad is the legislature had to pass the law because really, when you think about it, I mean, if they're violating the lease, then the AG could have already gone in there and sued to terminate the lease, okay? The main reason they passed that bill was not aimed at the mayor like he thinks, because it's always about him. It was really aimed at the AG because she would not do her job. Seriously. And I've had numerous legislators tell me that.
Well, I know what started the whole thing. was one of them going down there and smelling the weed and all the shenanigans going on at the
what happened was
Trey Lamar.
Trey Lamar, he had he told me this story himself. His kid had a baseball tournament down there. They made the finals. Finals started late, so it was like Sunday evening when they were playing the finals of the tournament. And meanwhile, the cigar bar just cranked up for their Sunday night thing. I mean, Bennett's people had no situational awareness. Like, oh, we got kids playing out there, and we might want to cool it, So the parents are down there having to keep the kids away from the third baseline because they got all this loud music and cussing and all this drinking and smoking, all that crap going on. Meanwhile, out in the parking lot, you could actually smell the people out there smoking weed outside the place. I mean, just once you want around kids. I mean, so that's what started it all. And then Trey Lamar started checking. He went and checked the lease because he's a lawyer. It was like, wait a second, park purposes? This ain't a park purpose. And then later on, I mean, they didn't know about the VA lease till I reported it, and they were like, everybody was like, wait a second, what? And then you find out the city's not charging any rent for it. I mean, and when they were supposed to be, and they were actually supposed to make them get a bond, so if he didn't pay, they would still get paid. Of course not. They didn't do that. You never hear the mayor mention that part, which is his own team failed to make him get the bond they were supposed to get. So, he can whine all he wants, but that's what it is just whining, because it has no basis in reality.
Per usual.
No, per usual. And but by the way, if you notice the last couple week or so, I mean, I knew John Horne was probably going to win this race when I saw Danielle Holmes, that's Chokwe's little street thug, and Kamikaze, they're all getting, I mean, just the vitriol, the hatred. I mean, frankly, if you replace black for white, they sounded just like certain people did back in 1950s and 60s, just like them. And you listened to Chokwe last night. It was the same trick. They're coming after me. They're doing, I mean, it was just out of the same playbook. I mean, it's just reversed.
Has anybody checked on Other or Kamikaze today? Are they okay?
Well, I really don't give a damn. I mean, I really don't, because we've got to run off. We're going to listen to 3 more weeks. We don't have to, but, it's going to be three more weeks of them doing that. And, by the way, Jeff Good, the way, I'm going to say this to you, my friend, the way Other's been trashing you because you dared support John Horne, if you ever let him, he loves to come to your wine tastings and drink wine and at night at your restaurant, bars and stuff. If you ever let him in again, after what he's been doing to you personally on his Facebook page, you're crazy. Oh, seriously.
Same for Steven over at what you call it?
Yeah.
Manship. Has the audacity to sit there and bash these people to no end, and then goes and sits at their bar. I wouldn't allow you in my place. Saying, it ain't my money.
You can't have it both ways, buddy. If I'm not good enough to vote in your elections, and you're not good, then you know what? I'm not good enough to serve you. So get out.
If you think I'm a racist, I don't want you spending your money with me. And it makes you look like a hypocrite anyway. So I'm a racist, but not enough of one for you to spend your money with me.
They really think white people should not have the right to vote in Jackson. That's what they really think, and that's what they're pushing. I mean, they tried to pull a street thug move yesterday where Danielle Holmes and a bunch of others, they went down there and held a little rally for Chokwe in front of Fondren Church. I mean, okay, that is obviously not a Chokwe precinct. Why would you do that there? Oh, okay. Voter suppression, maybe?
Were the Black Votes Matters buses all in town yesterday, or is that money dry up with USAID?
I have no idea.
Normally I see them moving around, but admittingly I was not in Jackson moving around yesterday. But they usually come in.
I didn't see any of that. And then the mayor saying he's calling for reinforcements. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I expect the Horn people are talking to the Henderson and bunch of people this morning.
Yeah, I would love to know how many people voted without an ID yesterday.
You can't. I mean, they check for IDs. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, but some of these precincts, you really think they care? I mean,
yeah.
You don't believe outright corruption is going on in some of these places? You think it's?
I didn't say that, but they check for the IDs. Yeah.
I hope so, man. I hope that I'm just.
And I've never had anybody in anonymous comments say went to this and they weren't checking IDs. I've never had that either. No, they're checking. They're checking them.
I hope I'm just so jaded that I just can't see the good, and it's there. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I mean, even Pete would tell you, yeah, they checked the IDs. Now, there's other issues, like what happened up in Columbus that was hysterical. I mean, we need to talk about that for a second.
We do. We got to take a break first.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the Democrat getting their car repoed with all the ballots in it.
I mean, you can't make this up.
All the ballots in it, and the Secretary of State comes out and says it's perfectly fine for them to have taken all the ballots home with them the night before the election. We got Kingfish.
We'll get into that. There's good reasons for that. Go on.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear them when we come back. We got Kingfish on the Mazda Jackson phone line. You got the Clay Edwards show moving right on down the tracks this morning. We're going to check the Guns and Gear text. I promise. That number is 769-241-1944. If you want to call in, you want to talk to the Kingfish, to Clay, the Mazda Jackson phone line, we got another extension on it, 601-879-0002. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, here live on WYAB. Guys, what's for lunch today, you may be asking? Well, at Huey Magoo's, it's delicious chicken tenders, the filet mignon of chicken tenders. That's right. 2 great locations to serve you right there in right there at the entrance to the outlets of Mississippi in Pearl, and right down past Dogwood, down in Castlewoods, across from Walmart on Lakeland Drive. It's Huey Magoo's, the best chicken strip joint in town, is now a partner here on the Clay Edwards Show. Whether you get the grilled chicken tenders, the fried chicken tenders, you can even get them rolled in your favorite sauce. That's right. Why have to dip them when you can get them pre-rolled in your favorite sauce? The fries are phenomenal as well. The service is even better than you could imagine for a drive-through fast food style chicken strip joint. And those grilled chicken tenders, you guys out there, you girls out there doing a little meal prep, watching what you eat, they reheat well and they don't dry out like you would think for a fast food chicken strip. Really, really good. They marinate them for 24 hours and they are served with love. That is Huey Magoo's. 2 great locations. Swing by Pearl, swing by Flowwood. Tell them you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, real quick, I just set a promo code up on my website in celebration of Chokwe Lumumba being a political dead man walking. Everything on the website is $10 off. And the promo code to get it is Free the Land. All caps, one word. All caps, one word. Free the Land. And get your FAFO shirts, hats, hoodies for $10 off. That's only $20 a shirt, $20 a hat, whatever it is. Whatever it's up there for, it's $10 off the entire website at buyfafo.com. Buyfafo.com. Save $10 on any and all order. No limitations. That's right. If you buy 50, you're saving $50. Not 50. If you buy 5, you're saving $50. If you buy 50, you're saving $500. Buyfafo.com. Promo code Free the Land. All one word, all caps. Let's go back to the Mazda Jackson phone line with Jackson Jambalaya's Kingfish. All right, brother. You're back.
I'm back.
You're back. What did we say we were going to discuss? Oh, the Columbus. Chaos in Columbus.
You can't make this up.
Chaos in Columbus. Yeah, Kingfish reported this yesterday. I made a video about it, laughing at it. LOL, Democrats. Somebody's car got repoed the night before the election or morning of the election.
Okay.
All right, tell us about it.
The ballot boxes are prepared, and then the poll manager, he took them home, and you're allowed to do this, took them home the night before. There's good reasons for it. Took them home the night before, but he was using his brother's car, okay? So he should have taken the ballot box and ballots inside. Now, they're secured and all that, but he should have taken them inside, all right, the house. But he didn't do that. He left them in the car. Well, guess what? The car got repoed. So when he came back out there in the morning, no car, repoed. And the impound lot was over by Tuscaloosa. Yeah, a little bit of a distance from Columbus. So all of a sudden they're panicking. They don't even know what to do. And they wound up having to print out emergency ballots, which they can do. But, you know, for a while they had no ballots. I mean, when the polls opened, and it was because the ballots were in Alabama.
Wild. So they had to print more? So everybody that showed up early to vote couldn't vote unless they came back?
Probably. And I imagine there were some pretty ticked off people too, you know?
Kingfish, this is one of those things I go back to talking about. Now, these are volunteers somewhat in these positions.
Yeah.
But it's what I go back to talking about, people who run for office. We really need to do a credit check on these folks. And if they can't balance their own checkbook, they don't need to be balancing ours.
Okay? It wasn't his car that got repoed. It was his brother's car.
Even worse. Should have had him in his. He may not even have had a car. It's probably the problem.
May not have, but I mean, they have a hard enough time getting poll workers as it is. And by the way, when we had the Chris McDaniel race back 10 years ago, when they started dragging all the poll workers into the lawsuits and stuff, a lot of these people said, "Screw this! I'm not doing this again." Okay, I mean, so that caused problems getting poll workers for a while. I mean, we have problems all the time in Hinds County getting poll workers. I mean, but like you said before the break, well, why would they let them take them home? Well, okay, Hinds County, the darn warehouse and all that is down near Utica. Okay, guess what? Go get those ballots. That poll manager will have to be getting up at 3 a.m. to go down there and bring them back over to North Jackson. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but what I do have a problem with
it makes things a lot. It sounds good, but when you start actually looking at it, it makes things a lot tougher. And it's worked fairly well. Okay, I mean, there's been no real issues here. I mean, we had a guy get stupid and get careless, and guess what? They wound up over in Alabama.
Well, also they were not in the vehicle they were supposed to be in. They're in his brother's vehicle. Not the certified poll worker. They're in the certified poll worker's brother's vehicle. I got chain of command issues. Chain of custody,
yeah.
Chain of custody issues.
Yeah, like I said, but you've also got, it's not quite as cut and dry as you think it is. I mean, like I said, another race, by the way, that happened last night, we really haven't discussed is Canton. That's your buddy Chip Matthews, who's running for mayor up there, but you've got the Democrat primary. You've got a runoff between Taylor and I think the name is Walker. And that's a very important race because Walker is the one backed by the Blackmans. And I mean, if you care about Canton, you want to see it go in a positive direction. You want to see the corruption thrown out. You don't vote for Walker. You need to vote for, you don't want to vote for the person backed by the people who ran Canton to the ground. Okay. I mean, you want to vote for the other guy, Taylor. In fact, I got a video from Facebook on my site yesterday where this guy, he was a former CMU commissioner, I think his last name was Wood, and he just sat there and he started spilling it out, started digging up all the dirt and the Blackmans had ripped off CMU and the city and what all the bad decisions they made and all the corruption and stuff. I mean, and it took some real stones to do what he did. He didn't care.
Well, I heard Chip on his show this morning talking about the girl that's in the lead. She's also the same teacher up there for Canton that lied about the test scores and can't teach for 10 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oof. Yeah. But she's pretty, and the Blackmen, the right people are behind her. So, but I'm just saying, I mean, hey, Republicans, if you didn't vote Republican yesterday, go vote in that one, okay? That's the one you go vote in if you live up there.
And who do they need to vote for?
Taylor.
Which one?
Taylor.
And that's the one that's not backed by the. That's the
Taylor
one.
Swift. Yeah.
Not backed by the Blackmans.
Yeah. I need to cover Canton more because that's always fun to cover. It's always so screwed up.
It is. Chip talks so much about Canton that I don't know what to believe and what not to believe.
What are you going to do if Chokwe gets beat, Kingfish? You want anything else to cover? Yeah. Well, I've still got Canton to go up to. Trust me. Okay. Look, I was writing about all kinds of stuff before Chokwe came along. All right. I'm not too worried about it. Look, Rush Limbaugh did fine after Bill Clinton left office, okay?
Yeah. Look, people in Jackson still going to be killing each other, still going to be robbing gas stations, still going to be robbing each other. They ain't going to stop just because we get a new mayor, unfortunately. Pro-police or not, Jackson going to Jackson.
I mean, Tony Yarber, one thing he did was hire Lee Vance's police chief, and Vance put in a really good command staff. I mean, look who's on the staff. I mean, your current sheriff was. I mean, McGowan was. Alan White was pretty good. I mean, but you had a good command staff there, and you had real results. I mean, the homicides were down to 60s. I mean, the crime numbers, you go look at, we're going in the right directions. I mean, you compare the crime numbers, say, under when Frank had your boy McMillan in charge of JPD, they were much better, okay? I mean, if you get the right team in there, yeah, you can make a difference with crime.
I sure hope so. I know that. I know you can. I just but to the point, there will be plenty to talk about in Jackson because there's going to be so much to unpack from the Lumumba fiasco that we're going to find out once he's gone when they can't hide it anymore. You want to talk about on November 8th and whenever, the day after the election this year, when you can see all the hard drives burning in D.C., you're going to see a lot of fires around Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, what you need to do is what he needs to do is if he wins, because nothing's guaranteed, but if he wins, he needs to get in there and have a forensic audit done. Period. I mean, you need to find. I mean, these people have screwed up too much. There's too many issues. I mean, go do a true forensic audit. I mean, tear the books apart, find out where all the money is, where it went, how it was spent, what's promised. I mean, blah, 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 you know?
Do you think Horne can do anything to help?
We just got downgraded, because we couldn't even audit our own damn books, okay?
Do you think that Horne will do anything to help JPS?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's where he turns them to the Jackson establishment.
Mm-hmm. Let them keep doing what they're doing.
And by the way, I got something to say to Zach Service. He's sitting there whining in his video about you're closing all these schools. Well, you know what, Zach? Jackson Public Schools are about 14, 15,000 students less than they used to be. I mean, 10 years ago, it was about probably 29, 30,000. I mean, now you're down to barely over 17,000. I mean, I'm sorry, dude, but okay, what do you do? Do you just keep all these schools open with no students, or which ones do you shut down? Because if you don't shut these down, then you got to shut some others down. But some of these clowns, like the service, do not even look at numbers. It's like they just say what feels good to them, and they don't want to deal with reality. So just saying, there's a reason they're having to close schools because they don't have any students.
I hated to see South Jackson take another hit with the amount of schools that closed in South Jackson because it's almost like we're just a millimeter away from just cutting all city services off to South Jackson.
No kids?
I know. I get it. I'm not arguing it. You just hate to.
You can't say charter schools. They're only 2,500. So if you put them back in, you're still only 20,000 students. I mean, that's still a lot less than 31,000 students. I mean, what do you do?
Man, even if you
down by a third.
Even if you turn Wingfield into a charter school, I don't think anybody's going over there by choice. That neighborhood is bad. Nobody wants to go to school in that neighborhood.
I mean, I know, but yeah.
I know. I grew up across the street from it. All right, Kingfish, I think we've reached the end of our ride here, brother. I'm going to finish up this last segment solo. I appreciate you today, man. We'll be following the website for any breaking news. That's Jackson Jambalaya.
We're going to have some fun today.
You're going to have some fun today. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun day in Jackson. I may go post up at the house and just go live the rest of the day. Just see what all happens.
Oh, there you go. No. You see, this is trench warfare. You want a huge battle, but you just haven't won the war yet. You win that in 3 weeks, okay? So
don't take your foot off the gas.
Don't be friggin' celebrating right now.
All right, Kingfish. Appreciate you, brother.
Everybody was saying Jonathan Leo, he's got this in the bag, and then they found out otherwise. Do not do that.
Nope. All right, brother. We'll be back at you. Bye. Always a good time with Jackson Jambalaya's very own The Kingfish. He said last night if Chokwe had been completely eliminated and Horne had won with no need for a runoff, he was going to get up and come do this in person. I was going to hold him to that. I wasn't going to let him on the radio this morning if he had done that. But unfortunately, we're going to do a runoff. It's the only runoff, right? No, there's another one somewhere too. Anyway, Canton. When we come back, there's a few other races I want to hit, or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just go straight into some chaotic shenanigans and just start reading the text and the phone lines and all that stuff and let y'all have a good time. A little nothing but a good time here on a hump day on the Clay Edwards Show. The Mazda Jackson phone line is wide open now. The Kingfish is off 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line 769-241-1944. I will finally read some of your text messages. And do not forget, I just discounted shirts and everything over at buyfafo.com, including the shirt I am wearing right now, the Mississippi Blackout Tag Edition. Get by, order a shirt. Who just ordered a couple? Shirts? Mandy. Thank you, Mandy, for ordering a couple shirts this morning over at buyfafo.com. The promo code, free the land, all one word, get $10 off per item across the board. All items are available for the $10 off, and we will be right back on WYAB. All right, guys, y'all don't go anywhere. I need to figure out what we're going to talk about next without talking the whole break. Y'all stay put, all 359 of you watching right now. Thank you so much. That's a big old number for a morning time show. We usually do about 3,000 or 4,000 by the end of the day, but we don't normally have more than about 150 watching. That tells me that this is where y'all trust to come get news from when big news happens in Jackson. So I take that very, very seriously, whether you like me or not. I do appreciate that. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. Don't go nowhere. Where would you go? There's nowhere else to go in the mornings. Stick right here. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Man, that was a wild show so far this morning. This segment brought to you by What's for Lunch in Central Mississippi. I'm glad you may ask. Why don't we start over at McBee's real quick? Buzzing the Res since 1982. You know, man, I talked about McBee's on my Facebook page the other day, and I just want to say something real quick. As you're 47 years old, so many of the places from my childhood, or from my teens, from my early 20s, from my youth, have disappeared. So many of them are no longer around. McBee's is still going strong right there on Lake Harbor Drive on the Res. McBee's. The little bumblebee that could. Their lunch special today. Get out there, man. It's like walking into a time capsule. You go in, it feels like home. It's like, man, maybe you ain't been there in 10, 15 years. Get out there, check it out. New owners. Wednesday, the pork chop, fried or grilled. It's phenomenal. I've had the fried version of it. Really, really good. Of course, they have several other options available, too. If you don't want to do fried pork chop or grilled pork chop, you can do hamburger steak, fried or grilled chicken breast, and country fried steak. They have an array of different sides available every day. You know, two of my favorite blue plate spots are Martin's and McBee's, and they both have something in common. They have a wide option of made-from-scratch, never-frozen sides available every day. The same sides every day. Fried okra, okra and stewed tomatoes, fried okra, black-eyed peas, turnip greens, rice and gravy, side salad, lima beans, green beans, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, fried okra, or French fries. That's at McBee's every day. That's a huge reason that they're setting records over there. Well, and of course, because they're advertising on WYAB. And then Martin's, we already talked about Martin's, but the meatloaf is a special of the day at both locations, Livingston and downtown Jackson. And Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, all three great locations. The Blue Plate Special, it's always available is red beans and rice with sausage and, of course, hamburger steak. And let's see if there's an alternating meat on Wednesdays. There's one day that they don't have an alternating meat. It is Wednesday, in fact. So you get red beans and rice with sausage or hamburger steak. And, of course, the full menu is available. The sides are mashed potatoes, green beans, and fried okra. I love some fried okra. That is a Mississippi staple right there, fried okra. All right, man, let's jump back into it. Let's read some of your texts on the Guns and Gear text line. We haven't been into those today. So now it seems like as good a time as any. We got about 6-7 minutes in the show left. All right, unknown texter says, I'm late tuning in. How is it going to a runoff? Horne was 463 votes from tripling Chokwe's total. Yeah, but some other people chimed in and just enough votes for other people that he was not able to win by 50%. So it went to a runoff, but it was by the hair of Chokwe's chinny chin chin, and it's strictly because of so many people running that it took the anti-Chokwe vote and split it up. And that is, as we knew it would, but, I can't imagine all of those people. Those were all anti-Chokwe votes. Every one of those people that ran could get on Team Chokwe, and I'm going to tell you, the people that voted for him ain't going to Team Chokwe. They just may not get out and vote again, but they ain't going to Team Chokwe. Go bet whatever you need to bet on Horne winning, because Horne going to win. I'll be shocked otherwise. And look, I'm not sitting here caping for Horne. We appreciate him advertising on the Clay Edwards Show and all that. Money well spent, obviously. But he's the best option. Sometimes, I always talked about when I lived in Jackson, I didn't want to vote Democrat, but if you wanted to participate in the process, that was Roger that asked that question. If you want to participate in the process, unfortunately in Jackson, you got to vote Democrat. It just is what it is. Unknown texter says, Horne will be a less flamboyant Lumumba. It'll be more of the same. He's a decades-long politician that's done nothing. I don't disagree with any of that, but I think one thing Horne will do is bring a bit of a steady hand. It'll bring some change. And Jackson's in one of those situations where change is needed no matter who the change was going to, minus Rakia Lumumba. I don't think Horne will be actively doing what's in the worst interest of Jackson, like Chokwe has. Chokwe has consistently shown that he is actively trying to destroy the city, and he plays the race card constantly because that's the only thing that makes black folks lose their damn minds and continue to vote for him. Oh, wait. No, he said we're fighting the man. Hold on now. Hold on to that dang minute. We're fighting the man. I got to back my boy. Sorry, guys, we're fighting the man. I mean, if it wasn't for the so-called man being fought, Chokwe would have been done a long time ago. But when the man, Chokwe, went and got himself a bunch of felonies, look, man, you're kidding yourself if you think otherwise. Those felonies, those appeal to a lot of Jacksonians. They just do. A lot of Jacksonians look at those and say to themselves, man, I got some felonies. I love my ghetto heroes. Let's build a statue of Chokwe once the felons are secured. Once the felonies are secured and in the bank and they're his for show, and they can't take them away from him, we should build him a statue. Look, man, they love their ghetto heroes in cities like Jackson. Master P even wrote a song about it called Ghetto Heroes. I mean, look, there's a rap song written about it. Don't get mad at me. I'm just talking about hashtag the culture. So look, John Horne got 11,909 votes, 48.4% of the vote. Chokwe got 4,124 with 16.8%. I mean, literally, John missed it by 1.6% of the vote. So, for example, David Archie sitting at 2.2% and 533 votes. If Archie had set this one out, or if Socrates Garrett at 2.6% has set this one out, we'd have a new mayor today. Well, in July. Marcus Wallace spent almost $200,000, $140,000 of his own money to get 1,000 votes, 1,004 votes. Let's do a little math here, shall we? You want to talk about a bad ROI? 1,004 divided by 200. Well, he spent 140,000 of his own money. Let's just do it like that. 1,004 divided by 1,400 equals. That math ain't math. Let's do it the other way around. 100. I can't math today, y'all. 140, 1, 2, 3, divided by 1,004 equals. He spent $139 a vote for those $139.44 a vote for those votes. I mean, he'd been better off just rolling around handing $100 bills out to people and saying, go vote for me. I mean, at least he could have got some favors from folks. They remember them $100 handshakes. Delano Funches, I know he put $100,000 of his own money up. He got 2,000 votes. 8.3% of the vote. Tim Henderson spent a bunch of money. Had a big billboard anyway. Got 3,300 votes. I could go on and on and on and on here. You can eliminate some of the bottom feeders with 29 votes, 81 votes, 254 votes, 262 votes, 342 votes. Any number of things could have happened to have eliminated this runoff. But here we are. It shouldn't be close. Runoff will be in 3 weeks. When is the runoff? Is that Easter weekend? I think the runoff is Easter weekend, too. Isn't it? Let's see. Another race that I'm surprised about is Flowood. I'm not surprised Kathy won. I'm surprised how big she won. Kathy Smith got 1,195 votes, 71%, 1,195 votes, 71% of the votes. Greg Wilcox, 488 votes, or 29%. And I'm going to tell you, I thought Wilcox passed the eyeball test. You couldn't go nowhere around Flowood without seeing Wilcox signs 10-1. 10-1 over Kathy. I know he knocked on every door, likable guy. But, Flowood spoke. It was like Byram's had a fake Democrat as a mayor for a while. Looks like they're about to have a real Democrat as a mayor. Let's see here. Wasn't Brian White the sitting mayor? Well, Ebony Winding, Democrat, won. Or does Byram have a Republican mayor? I don't know. Let me look into that. Anyway, let's land the plane real quick. Well, let's come back and land the plane. Online audience, I'm going to stay with you, say our farewells before we get back. That was more of like a crash landing on the plane there. I do apologize for that there. Normally I do a little bit better, but I did it backwards. I don't like reading stuff off the website. I just don't. But sometimes you get... So is Richard White the mayor in Byram? Well, did they not have a Republican primary yesterday? Was there not a Republican primary in Byram yesterday? Let me see. Byram mayor. It just says Democrat. Elroy Winding and Brian White. They got to have a primary, even if there's nobody's running. He's got to be on the ballot, right? Or did he just choose not to run? Did no Republican run? The runoff is Tuesday, April 22nd, so it's right after Easter. John asked how Fred did in Brandon. Fred lost. I think he got 33% of the vote, roughly. Over 1,000 votes for him, but so April 22nd is the runoff, that Tuesday. That's going to be big. That's going to be so big here in Jackson. You know what? I've never done a live remote in Jackson. I have never done a live remote in Jackson. But that day is going to be huge. We may do something special. We may throw a Tuesday night party somewhere in Jackson for Jackson residents to come out and break the chains. Break the chains of Chokwe. Free the land, free the people. Break the chains of Chokwe. Tuesday, April 22nd. All right, thank you. Look, I admit that there's some things I'm just a little green about when it comes to municipal elections. Our buddy Crypto Reb, is that Crypto or Cito Reb says on Rumble, no primary if unopposed. See Mayor Mary, no primary. Well, there was a few aldermen running unopposed yesterday that I had to vote for. There was an alderman my alderman was running unopposed. He was still on the ballot. I still thought you had to run in the primary. So interesting. Jonathan, that's where my head's at. Maybe a live remote at Martin's that evening, Tuesday, April 22nd. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it sounds. Maybe a literal Save Jackson party at Martin's if they'll have us on April 22nd. I mean, we can just go do it. It ain't got to be official. Like Martin's doesn't have to approve it. We can just all show up there. Maybe we don't actually have a live remote. Maybe we just say, hey, we're all going to meet at Martin's on a Tuesday night and throw a little impromptu party. Maybe that's the way to do it. And we just promote the heck out of it. I like the sound of that. I think that's something we may end up having to do, as long as we can arrange a couple Capitol Police to be there. You start worrying about those things when you get the kind of threats that I get. It sounds crazy, but unfortunately it's true. I ain't too fond of being in Jackson at night, but I do trust that area. All right, so I do apologize for talking right through the break there. Yeah, so what we were talking about during the break online was Tuesday, April 22nd is the runoff. I think we should all have a little party that night somewhere in Jackson. Got to be in Jackson. Jonathan, watching on YouTube, suggested, what about a party at Martin's? I said, maybe even a live remote. I'll talk to the Martins folks, see how they feel about it. Maybe they don't want it to be some kind of official live remote thing. But we can't all just decide to show up and have a good time at Martin's on a Tuesday. Going up in the club on a Tuesday. Could be fun. Could be fun. All right, guys, I will see y'all back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Y'all be blessed. Peace. All right, guys, don't forget to swing by the website today, buyfafo.com. Everything's $10 off. Just use the promo code Free the Land. All caps, no spaces. Free the Land. Should be a wild day here in Jackson politics. I can't wait to see the meltdowns online. Oh, it's going to be fun. Oh, it's going to be fun. Y'all don't forget Grip and Grin today out at Mama Hamill's. Big political powwow. They have it once a month out there. First Wednesday of every month at Mama Hamill's, starting around 11:30. You can start getting back there around 11, but I think the speeches start at noon. Get out there early, get you a seat, get you something to eat, and soak it all in, baby. The day after a big political election should be a fun one at Mama Hamill's today. Go see Bruce Bartley, gripping and grinning at Mama Hamill's. Y'all be blessed, man. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. Mandy, I saw where you bought a hat. Thank you so much. You bought a shirt too. Much love. Much love. Appreciate it. I'm gonna get that shipped. If I don't make it back home in time to get it shipped today, I'll get it shipped tomorrow to you. So you'll have it here in the next couple of days. You'll have it by Friday. Saturday at the absolute latest. All right. I think we got everything covered here. Y'all be blessed. See y'all tomorrow. Or maybe you'll see me later today. When news breaks, I break with it.